Have you ever wondered how much you are entangled in other people's problems? How many times have you focused your attention and energy on pleasing others or trying to fix things that don't really need fixing? This is an endless loop many of us fall into, losing sight of the most important thing, a profound awareness of ourselves. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them." It is how we perceive things that determines our state of mind. Sadly, when we focus too much on the external world, we easily forget to care for our own minds and personal paths. I believe the root cause of all troubles is a lack of self-understanding. When we do not fully understand ourselves, we are easily drawn into the expectations of others, feeling the need to change to fit in, or burdened by worries that aren't truly our own. But pause and think, why not focus on yourself? This isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. By giving your attention to yourself, you will discover a world of potential where you recognize your strengths and weaknesses and learn how to overcome your own limitations. Take a moment to reflect. If your mind is filled with other people's issues, how can you make space to build your own life? Don't let your mind be invaded by invisible worries. Leave a comment. I prioritize myself. Let that be the beginning of a journey to deeper self-discovery. 1. Focus on the present. Imagine standing on this planet, not to bear its weight, but to be supported by it. This is not a burdensome task, but an opportunity to be fully present. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His teachings, shaped by his life as a Roman emperor, navigating immense pressures, reveal how he maintained inner peace. It all begins with focusing on the present moment. Often we place ourselves at the center of the universe, carrying the world on our shoulders. We worry about work, relationships, or an uncertain future, as if we are the ones keeping everything in motion. But the truth is, the world does not require us to do so. The planet keeps spinning, the sun continues to rise, and the seasons still change regardless of our intervention. So why do we feel responsible for everything? Focusing on the present is not about shirking responsibility, but a reminder that you don't need to control it all. Think about this. Have you ever taken time to simply sit and experience the space around you? Just listening to the wind, watching sunlight filter through the trees, or feeling the warmth of a morning cup of tea. These are moments of presence, small yet powerful ways to reconnect with yourself. Without paying attention, you might miss the greatest wonder of all, your own presence. 2. Lessons from Stoicism. There is an ancient story about the philosopher Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the great thinkers of Stoicism. He once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus endured some of the harshest circumstances, but rather than dwelling on what he could not change, he turned his focus inward. He learned to be present in every moment, and this helped him not only survive, but thrive even in the most adverse conditions. Steve Jobs, a symbol of innovation and vision, exemplified how a philosophy focused on the self and the present moment can change a life. Not only was he the founder of Apple, but he also left behind a spiritual legacy about how to live and work meaningfully. Every morning, Jobs asked himself a simple yet profound question. If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? This question was not only a guiding principle for his decisions, but also reflected a strong focus on what truly mattered. When faced with pressure from shareholders, the market, and fierce competition, Jobs didn't allow himself to be swept up in the whirlwind of others' expectations. 3 responsibilities and conscious actions. In Stoic philosophy, responsibility is not merely an obligation, but also the highest expression of human dignity. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This statement goes beyond inner freedom, emphasizing the importance of self-control and awareness in all situations, especially when faced with major challenges like a pandemic. The human mind can be likened to a chaotic, violent, and unpredictable tsunami. Much like controlling a wave, confronting a crisis requires alertness, skill, and determination. When the pandemic emerged, each individual became a crucial link in the chain of actions to prevent its spread. This was not the time to assign blame or wait for others to act. Instead, everyone needed to practice conscious behaviors, such as maintaining distance, wearing masks, and isolating when necessary. A small yet responsible decision could help the entire community navigate through turbulent waves. An important lesson from the pandemic is that the virus does not spread on its own. It requires the unintentional or careless participation of people. This places a heavy responsibility on our shoulders. Will we become those who stop the wave or those who enable it to sweep everything away? Imagine an infected individual who fails to take preventive measures. This seemingly harmless action could create a domino effect, impacting dozens or even hundreds of others. Responsibility is not just about self-protection, but also recognizing that the safety of the entire community depends on the actions of each person. COVID-19 is a vivid testament to how challenges do not discriminate, whether affecting national leaders or ordinary workers. A prime example is former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. At the beginning of 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic was spreading rapidly, he too was not immune to the disease. After contracting COVID-19, he had to be hospitalized in a serious condition. Throughout his battle with the illness, he realized one important thing: the unity and responsibility of the healthcare team saved his life. Doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers not only worked tirelessly, but also demonstrated immense dedication and responsibility. They were the ones who fought relentlessly to ensure the health and safety of every patient, including him. This highlights the fact that no matter who you are, your status and power cannot protect you from life's challenges if there is a lack of collective responsibility and mutual support. The COVID-19 pandemic is not merely a health event, it is a generational test. It is an opportunity to demonstrate resilience, not just by overcoming the crisis, but also through how we treat each other. A responsible generation is one that leaves no one behind, avoids impulsive reactions, and chooses conscious actions. If we act irresponsibly, small issues can escalate into uncontrollable disasters. Conversely, solidarity and mindfulness can transform crises into opportunities to rebuild a more sustainable society. What sets Stoic individuals apart is their ability to act with awareness, not letting impulsive emotions dictate their actions. As Stoic philosophy teaches, instead of worrying about what we cannot control, we should focus on what we can master. During the pandemic, this is reflected in actions such as adhering to regulations, staying calm, and spreading positive messages. Responsible behavior not only protects the community, but also serves as a lesson in self-mastery under all circumstances. When mindfulness and responsibility are prioritized, the next question arises: how can we harmonize and collaborate in a world full of upheavals? The following content will unveil how humanity, despite differences in thinking, backgrounds, or viewpoints, can come together to overcome crises like a perfect chemical compound. Don't miss it, as the answer may change your perspective on the power of collective strength and human creativity. 4 tests of human chemistry. We often have no control over everything happening around us. Judgments, disrespectful actions, or even injustices can arise at any moment, beyond our grasp. However, what we can always control is how we respond. This is not merely about reacting. It serves as a test of maturity and self-mastery. Humans are not merely instinctive creatures reacting impulsively. On the contrary, we possess an incredible ability to respond consciously to whatever comes our way. When facing challenging situations, you might ask yourself, how will I choose to react in a way that doesn't compromise my values? In the moment you pause and reflect, you prove that you are not a slave to your emotions or environment. You are in control. For instance, imagine standing in a long line at a crowded store. Suddenly, someone behind you steps forward, cuts in line, and loudly announces they are in a hurry. You feel a surge of frustration, not only because of their disrespectful behavior, but also due to the gazes of others now focused on you. Your natural instinct might be to react immediately and call out their wrongdoing. Instead of letting anger take control, you take a deep breath, maintain a calm gaze, and politely say, "I understand you're in a hurry, but we're all waiting for our turn. Please respect that." The other person might feel confused or continue arguing, but your composure and clear words send a powerful message. You won't let emotions dictate your actions, and you maintain your dignity even in stressful situations. The outcome is not only that you handle the situation effectively, but also that you display confidence, earning admiration from those around you for how you deal with unfairness. This is the power of a conscious response, acting from a place of calmness and control rather than being overwhelmed by emotions. Stoicism teaches that no matter the circumstances, we always have a choice in how we respond. Every time we choose silence over reacting to an insult, every time we stay calm instead of getting angry, we reinforce our dignity. The world may test us in countless ways: a betrayal from a friend, a missed opportunity, or an unfounded criticism. Yet in every trial, the way we respond reflects who we are. What you are facing may not be your fault, but how you react is entirely in your hands. View each situation as a test for the evolution of your soul. This is not a challenge for survival in a literal sense, but a test to prove that you have risen above base instincts and are striving toward the higher version of yourself. A profound example of the power of conscious response is the story of Nelson Mandela, who dedicated his life to fighting for justice and peace. After being imprisoned for 27 years by the apartheid regime, Mandela had the opportunity to seek revenge or harbor resentment toward those who had confined him. However, instead of nurturing anger, he chose the path of forgiveness and reconciliation. When asked why he didn't harbor resentment, Mandela profoundly shared, "If I hold on to anger, I am still their prisoner." This statement reflects a deep understanding of the nature of freedom and how resentment can imprison a person's soul. Mandela knew that if he allowed negative emotions to take control, it would not only affect his life, but also the future of his country. It was through his restraint and compassion that he helped South Africa overcome the era of apartheid and build a unified, peaceful society. His actions are a clear demonstration that an individual can rise above even the harshest circumstances if they learn to master their own reactions, not allowing themselves to be governed by hatred or anger. Stoicism does not teach us to avoid the world, but to face it with inner strength. Challenges are not enemies, but opportunities to prove ourselves. Remember, your response is a test of evolution. When you choose to remain silent and calm, you not only overcome the situation, but also move closer to a better version of yourself. Let every challenge become a chemical test of your soul, to prove that you are not merely a reactive, emotional being, but a person who masters themselves and their life. 5. Handling relationships and opinions. There are moments when you must confront yourself in relationships with others, This is the time to prove that you are not merely existing but living meaningfully. However, living together, even with those you love, is not always easy. Sometimes just 7 days of close proximity are enough to create conflicts, tensions, or even a stifling feeling. But why is that? Why does living with others become such a significant challenge? Humans by instinct often form strong opinions, not only about others, but also about themselves. These opinions are not merely thoughts, they are conclusions drawn from experiences, emotions, and judgments. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, when you draw conclusions about someone or something, are you unconsciously placing limits on your own life? When you uphold a Stoic mindset, you learn not to let your opinions become chains that bind you. Instead of trying to change others or letting differences trouble you, focus on what you can control, your own thoughts and emotions. Life only becomes rich and worth living when we allow it to retain its uncertainty and potential. If you conclude that someone is unchangeable or a situation is unbearable, you unintentionally destroy your own capacity to live. When everything is framed in absolutes, you no longer feel the need to act, learn, or strive. But is that truly the case? Or is it merely a limitation you impose on yourself? In relationships, when you pause to analyze your emotions, you will realize that strong opinions often stem from your expectations of others, a behavior, a response, or even agreement. When those expectations are unmet, you feel disappointed, and your opinion of them turns negative. That is when your life loses harmony and meaning. Try changing your perspective. Instead of focusing on what others do wrong, focus on how you respond. If you can bridge the gap between potential and reality, as the Stoics emphasize, you will find that nothing prevents you from living a peaceful life, even if others are imperfect. Imagine a gathering of close friends you've known since high school. During the conversation, one of them starts recalling an old story where you once made a small mistake. The story quickly becomes the centerpiece of teasing, with the jokes escalating to the point where you start feeling uncomfortable. Every gaze in the group turns toward you, anticipating your reaction, perhaps a defense, or maybe even a few self-deprecating remarks to add to the humor. Instead of rushing to defend yourself or reacting sharply, you simply smile gently, stay silent, and look at everyone. In that moment, you not only maintain your composure, but also send a clear message. You won't let the jokes hurt you, nor do you feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Your silence isn't a sign of weak acceptance, but a powerful statement of self-respect and emotional control. Gradually, the atmosphere shifts, the teasing starts to fade, and your discomfort is noticed without you needing to voice it. Sensing the boundary you silently set, one of the friends quickly changes the topic. By choosing not to engage in the joking, you assert your dignity without hurting anyone in the process. This action not only helps you maintain your dignity, but also prompts others to reflect on their own behavior. It serves as evidence of Epictetus's saying, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things." Inner peace and strength can only be achieved when you let go of the need to prove yourself to others. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies the ability to uphold self-respect and maintain emotional control in all circumstances. This doesn't mean you have to abandon relationships or live in isolation. Instead, you need to learn how not to let others' opinions affect your mood or decisions. Life is a possibility, and you need the courage to bridge the gap between potential and reality. You can start with the smallest steps. Spend time each day observing your thoughts without judgment. When you feel agitated, ask yourself, does this opinion really matter? Does it make me a better person? If the answer is no, let it go. How has Stoic philosophy changed your perspective on relationships and personal opinions? Do you have any stories about staying calm and focusing on yourself instead of others? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to reading them and discussing more about our Stoic journey together. 6. Improve yourself through small changes. One morning, you step into your usual coffee shop. While waiting for your coffee, you look around. A man quietly reads a book in the corner, while another group engages in a lively discussion about other people's personal stories. You sense a stark contrast between the two energies, one focused on personal growth and concentration, the other distracted by external gossip rather than self-reflection. This simple scene carries a profound lesson about where we should focus our attention in life. Instead of following others' footsteps, ask yourself, how can I improve myself bit by bit every single day? How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? This question, posed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, is not just a reminder, but a powerful wake-up call. We often waste time observing, comparing, and judging others, forgetting that our own life is what truly matters. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't spend time tending to it, it will become barren. Instead of envisioning grand changes, Stoic philosophy teaches us that self-improvement should begin with small, steady steps, modest yet meaningful changes that cultivate extraordinary inner strength. One of our greatest mistakes is believing that to change ourselves, we need to make monumental transformations. This is not the case. True change lies in the small, seemingly insignificant details of daily life. Small actions, like starting the day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for, controlling your breath during stressful moments, or spending 15 minutes each evening learning a new skill, form the foundation for building a stronger, more admirable version of yourself. Changing little by little helps you maintain consistency and self-discipline, 2 qualities highly valued in Stoic philosophy. It's akin to sculpting a piece of stone into a work of art. To achieve this, you don't need to shatter it with one blow. Instead, you just need precise, gentle taps, day after day. One of the main reasons we struggle to focus on self-improvement is the habit of comparing ourselves to others. In the age of social media, seeing other people's successes can sometimes make us feel inferior or pressured. However, Stoic philosophy emphasizes that while you cannot control what happens externally, you have full control over how you respond to it. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Instead of chasing societal standards or the opinions of others, return to yourself. You don't need to become a perfect version in the eyes of others. You only need to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. Imagine having a dialogue with yourself. What have I done today to be better than I was yesterday? Am I on the right path to becoming the person I want to be? These questions not only help you focus on your personal journey, but also serve as powerful tools for training your mind. Stoic philosophy advises that instead of wondering what others think of you, focus on what you think of yourself. This is the way to maintain self-respect and dignity, core elements that help you overcome life's challenges. Self-improvement not only brings success, but also helps you achieve a state of inner peace. When you stop comparing, stop worrying about others' opinions, and fully concentrate on becoming the best version of yourself, you will feel a sense of freedom that Stoic philosophy describes as the noblest kind. Change doesn't need to be grand or ostentatious. It can be as simple as refusing to engage in a meaningless argument, staying calm in the face of insults, or choosing to view things more objectively. These small actions not only improve how you perceive the world, but also influence how the world perceives you. In the journey of self-improvement, nothing is more important than starting. Don't let what others are doing discourage you. With small, daily changes, you can move closer to becoming the best version of yourself. The journey of change begins with you. There's no need to rush, just take those first steps. We've just explored a profound lesson from Stoic philosophy. Focus on yourself, not others. By mastering your emotions, maintaining silence, and preserving personal dignity, you not only protect your inner peace, but also build a strong sense of self-respect. What do you think about this idea? Have you ever felt that silence helped you overcome challenges? Feel free to share your story in the comments below. If you found this helpful, share it to spread this message and inspire others to embark on their own journey of self-improvement.